I'd like to talk to you about our two route now. And I'll start with teaching the boundary. And into the boundary, our X is going to run a slant route. It's a 3-step slant. So it's 3 steps and he's going to slant. And he runs a diagonal that's 10 yards down the field. So his aiming point for when he comes out of his break is a point where they hash and 10 yards down the field meet. And that's the angle that he's going to come out of. Our A-back runs a swing route. And what we're trying to accomplish is the two route into the boundary is designed to put this will linebacker into a bind. Okay? We know that his responsibility is this out flat area. And that when he reads through number 2 first. So when he sees the A start to swing, he's got to decide what angle he's going to take or how fast he's going to get out of there. Most of the time, these guys will attack downhill and they're taught to go attack that swing back. So that W leaves that throwing window open. And that's what we would like to have happen. So he leaves and the quarterback is going to look right through this first throwing window. And if that window is open, if that will linebacker is left and he doesn't see anything, he's going to hit his back foot and he's going to throw the ball. Quarterback will do a quick 3. Look in that first window. If that first window is there, he knows the will linebacker has chased the swing route and he'll throw that right there. If the will linebacker idles down so that he sees number 2 going out, and now they're going to switch this, and the corner is going to play the swing route, and the will linebacker is going to try to play the slant, then what would happen is he would start over there and he'd kind of settle in on the slant and he'd end up in that first window. So if the quarterback sees that that first window is closed or he sees the will linebacker there, he's immediately going to throw the swing route. And we'll take our chances that this corner who's 7 yards off in back pedals, that we have a nice way to get the ball on the perimeter. I kind of view this route as like a toss sweep. Instead of having to toss it here and run all the way out there, we just swing the back out into the boundary and throw it to him. So it's a way to put the will linebackers into a bind and to challenge the rotation of the will linebacker in the corner. Whether they want to play it with the will linebacker running to the flat and the corner coming down on the slant. In that case, we throw the first window. Or if they want to play this where the will linebacker checks number 1 and settles on that, and the corner comes out of his back pedal and comes down. So those are the 2 ways we feel like they can play that into the boundary and that we've seen. And that's how we handle it in terms of throwing it to the slant or throwing it to the swing. Now we've also had occasions where this will linebacker in this type of rotation, he comes over too far. And we have thrown this in the second window. So we'll tell the quarterback, if that window's covered, and for some reason you can't get that ball out here to the A, then wait to the second window. This is usually window is always open because most of the time this middle linebacker we've seen is he'll drop straight back. Okay, occasionally he'll come over to the boundary side in order to get him 3-on-2, but more often than not we see him drop back, straight back, and in particular when they're playing 5 in the box, he usually has the quarterback. So he sits in the middle of the defense, and that's how we know that that second window can be a good throw. So that's how we attack the boundary with the two route. Working our way over to the field side in the 2 route. As we mentioned, we always like to have one receiver that's going to occupy 2 of the defenders, particularly when we're 4 on 3 or if we're 3 on 2 to a side. Then one of our routes needs to occupy 2 of those defenders so we can get our numbers advantage. In this case, it's the B route. And he's going to run a post. And in the 2 route, the Z is going to run a speed out and up. And he's going to hug that sideline. So he's going to run it out and up. And then the W is going to run a dig and come straight across. Okay? Here's what we're trying to accomplish. We have a route where this Z, and we know that this strong safety, in 3 deep look, his responsibility is to cover that flat. So we'd like to go ahead and let him start running over to that flat route area. So he sees an out by that Z, and once again we can watch and see what his path is. A lot of times this strong safety who's playing about a yard inside, he'll sprint downhill or he'll sprint parallel to mirror the route of that Z. So he's convinced that he's running an out. He knows that he's running to that area, that's his area, so he's got to make sure he plays that out, right? The corner in 3 deep knows he has the deepest man on his side reading from 1 to 2, so he starts his back pedal. Generally this dig cut happens before this out and up, because running from the hash all the way to about 4 yards from the boundary takes a little bit longer than running this dig route. So he backpedals and he starts to work his way over on the dig route, because he knows that it looks like that's going to be the deepest receiver based on his deeper stem. Since his stem is longer and his stem is shorter, the appearance for the corner is that he's going to run it out and that he needs to stay on that dig route. So that's generally what happens. So what we've created is we've created a foot race with the Z and the strong safety, and we've also moved the strong safety so that we have a nice hole to throw into. So if the strong safety leaves, we can throw that dig route right in that hole. The same linebacker is prevented from coming over into that help on that dig because he sees this long stem and he's told to wall that B route. And so he'll stay right in that track, and sometimes they'll even climb a little bit with him. But generally the quarterback turns when we go to this side, and what he's taught is to look right through the window of that strong safety. And if you see that window of that strong safety leave, then you just hit that back foot. Once again, he's going to do a quick 3, and you just wait for that dig route to come. Generally, they're going to catch that at the hash, or just on the other side of the hash is where they'll catch that. We feel pretty comfortable that the free safety won't be able to come over and help on that, because he's obviously playing in the middle of the field on 3 deep and we have a post route. So what we're able to do then is we're able to look straight through the dig route. If we see that that corner has come down, then the quarterback knows he can throw that over the top, and while this strong safety is then turned and having to chase the Z. So by design of our route, we can hold the free safety in the SAM. We can look through the window to the dig. If we see the corner coming down, we know that we can throw it over top of him and go the one-on-one route with the strong safety that's chasing our D. So that's our read in the 2 route to the field side.